Hi, I'm Benjamin Ivey and welcome to my classroom. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be your online instructor for this digital animation class. Together, we're going to be learning a variety of tools and techniques that it takes to create digital animation on your computer. Digital animation is something that I'm really proud of and I love to do. And hopefully by the end of this semester, I'll pass that passion on to you so that you can create your own personal works for your portfolio. Now in this video, I want to cover a brief introduction to all of the different topics that we're going to be covering in this semester. So let's get started. First up, let's talk about the textbook and the companion website. This semester, we're going to be using Tradigital Animate CC by Stephen Brooks. This is a fantastic book that covers all of the tools and techniques that it takes to learn and use Adobe Animate to create animations. In addition to his textbook, he also has a companion website where you can view further tutorials and download examples of all of the projects that are listed out. However, all of the projects and the files that we will need for this class can be found on our MC Moodle page. So at any time, if you need to know what we're doing and how to complete a project, you should be able to find all of the stuff from the class Moodle page. So let's talk a little bit about the software we're going to be using during this semester. Adobe Animate CC is what we're going to use to complete all of the projects and assignments. And Adobe Animate is part of their Creative Cloud suite of design software. So if you've got an Adobe account, you should be able to download this software and run it on your computer. Now the most current version is what I recommend to work on all of these assignments. However, some of the tutorials both in the book and on the class Moodle page may use an older version of Adobe Animate. If this is the case, I'll try to point out any discrepancies between the two different software versions, but for the most part, you should be able to work through all of the assignments without any issue. So why use Adobe Animate? There's lots of other animation software that's out there. Some of them are free and some of them are even more powerful. Adobe Animate does a lot of things that you can do in all of this software. It does traditional frame-by-frame animation. It also does a powerful type of animation called tweening that leverages your computer's ability to take one object and transform it into another object. It supports both raster and vector-based artwork. This means if you create something in Illustrator or even Photoshop, you should be able to animate it within here. Also, because it's part of the Adobe Creative Cloud suite of software, it's compatible with almost all of the other software that Adobe offers. Finally, and most importantly, Animate is an industry standard. You can find lots of online and professional videos that are created using this software. So if you understand all of the tools and techniques that we learn in this software, you can apply it towards other software and even other projects. So let's talk a little bit about my projects and what I want to accomplish this semester. All of the projects and the work that we do have two main goals attached to them. First off, I want you to learn how to effectively use this software, all of the tools and the techniques so that you can create your own animation. But beyond that, I also want you to have a good understanding of the animation techniques and principles of any work that's created. Now this semester is going to be broken up into 5 different units. Every unit is going to have a set of projects, and every project is going to have a few exercises. These exercises are like little mini projects. They usually help you practice the techniques and tools that we'll discuss during our class. And these will also help you with working on whatever project you have for that unit. Now the project is larger work and it usually takes several days to complete. This will incorporate all of the topics and the tools and the stuff that we'll cover for this unit. So I want you to pay close attention to what I'm expecting you to demonstrate for each of the projects. By the end of the semester, We're going to cover all of the topics that are laid out in our syllabus, and you should have a good portfolio of skills that you can apply towards your career. So, some of the topics that we'll be talking about this term. Again, I have two main goals that I want to accomplish, and so these topics are also backed up by these two goals. In using the software, I want you to understand Adobe Animate and how Adobe Animate functions. So you'll learn the tools that will help you create and manipulate any of the artwork within this software. Also, we'll be covering a lot of the terminology that's used in this software and in the industry, and you'll understand the process of working and designing within this software so that you can create your own animations later. Also, for the animation principles, the topics we'll cover are the 12 principles of animation. Now, these 12 principles have been outlined and used by all animators for the last 50 to 60 years. We're going to learn a little bit of the history behind animation, also the terminology that's used within the industry, and a little bit about drawing and style of animation. Now, in addition to the things that we're going to be covering, here are some other resources that I would recommend you make available. Keep in mind, these are only recommendations. I'm not going to require them for any of the projects, but I do highly recommend that you have them in order to make your projects go a little bit smoother and to be able to work in a more professional manner. If you have a digital drawing tablet, this is a device that allows you to connect a drawing stylus to your computer and to draw in a more natural type way. Also, if you have a sketchbook, you can draw off any of your animation that you're working on and be able to take mental notes and be able to work out any figures in a visual way as well. Finally, if you have a camera or some sort of app, especially one that can record in slow motion, this is a great valuable tool that allows you to capture motion and be able to break it down and really study the movement of different objects. If you're interested in learning more, all of these projects and some of the topics that I talk about come from these three recommended books: Richard Williams' Animator Survival Kit, The Illusion of Life, and Cartoon Animation by Preston Blair. These are all industry standard books that are fantastic and go a lot more in depth in the techniques of traditional animation. If you want to learn more about the software itself, Adobe publishes their Classroom in a Book series every year. Just make sure you have the most current version that matches the version of your software. Also, How to Cheat in Adobe Animate CC provides a lot of tips and tricks on how to do some more complex things within Adobe Animate. Let's also talk a little bit now about the expectations for this class. I'll start off by saying what this class is not. Don't expect this class to simply be another drawing class. At no time will I teach drawing tools and techniques. Now, to complete the assignments, you will be doing a lot of drawing, so if you do have a background in drawing, this will help you out. Also, this is not a complete animation program. There's simply not enough time in this one semester for this one class for me to teach you everything you need to know to be a good animator. Things like storyboarding, lighting, stagecraft and design, even acting. All of that goes into what it takes to create an animation and to be an animator that can be hired to do full-on productions. We're also not going to be covering character design or story development. Again, this is a completely different set of skills that we don't have time to cover for this class. But if you are interested in taking this further, I highly recommend checking out those books that I recommended earlier. So what is this class? It's very much an introduction to animation and using the software. We're only going to be scratching the surface of what you can do as an animator and a designer, so you can always take this much further. It's also an appreciation for the craft and the history that it takes to create animation. And finally, it's a portfolio builder. I want you to be able to take these tools, techniques, and appreciation and apply it to your creative career.